like a touchscreen computer, and you use little pens to draw on it, and it's cool because it's pretty much the only touchscreen computer, but it's bad because like sometimes the markers don't work. We sometimes play games on it.
Okay, and what kind of games, can you kind of describe what those games are like or what you do?
Well, they're like logic solving games where it kind of helps to have the smartboard. It makes it a lot easier.
How have the kids responded just in general as far as being able to use it in the classroom, things like that?
Students love using the smartboard. They're actually becoming very, very proficient in using it, knowing how to use it. We've done presentations where the students, instead of standing behind a computer or stand behind a podium or whatever, they stand up here and present their information just standing right here and then touching the screen to where they need to go. So that way, it kind of looks like a weather person. Instead of talking to a computer or whatever, they're able to talk to the audience and also present their information as well.
Right.
Another nice, we do some grammar activities, and so we do our DLR. Instead of, again, using the overhead, we use this, and so the students can write right on the screen. And pretty.
You've done DLR before in other classes, probably, where you've used like the overhead and things like that. How does that compare? Do you like one better than the other, or is one easier than the other?
Well, I kind of like the smartboard better because like you can write on the board instead of having to like do like it on the screen and stuff, and it's kind of cool to just see it on the smartboard too.
You don't have to focus it like on an overhead. You have to focus it, and you on the overhead, usually the teachers always did it, but on the smartboard we get to do it.
So you're able to go up there and do a lot of the work kind of yourself? Mm-hmm. What are some struggles that you've had? You know, getting to know the technology, what are some things that maybe cause some frustrations?
The biggest one is probably time. I haven't even touched a lot of things I can do. I'm learning. I just kind of learn as I go, kind of thing. Just having time to explore the ins and outs of it.
You mentioned you'd at some point like to, be able to not have to use like an overhead and things like that anymore. Does this replace any other tools that are typically used in the classroom that you would use in the 5th, 6th grade classroom? There are other things you can do with this.
Talking about tools, today we're going to be playing a math game that uses die, and you can find some of the dice on here, and so that way you have a regular dice that you can use. So instead of all the students trying to gather around a desk, you can just look up here. Here we go.
And so here's an example of how Mr. Benton's class is using the smartboard to help them work on probability. Primarily, you've mentioned like math and language times when you would use this. Are there other times that you could use this,
Science,
in your classroom?
Like dry erase board or chalkboards. Another nice thing about this is, like, in science we've been taking notes. We're doing a unit called Landforms, and take notes about the different types of landforms. And the nice thing is we can save that to the smartboard, to the clipboard, and the items are saved, so you can come back to it, so you don't have to worry about a student erasing at the end of the day. It's kept. We introduced landforms, and then, as you can see, what makes landforms, and these are student ideas that we wrote down for them. But then later on, you can type text in, and then have the student. Water flows over earth materials. And so the groups discuss this kind of like a think pair.
As you can see, this is a neat way for students to record their information and make sure that they stay up to date on what the class has been discussing. In the clips that follow, you'll see some other ways that we're integrating technology into the classroom here at Longfellow. Teacher Margaret Buter will now explain some of the ways that she uses technology in her classroom to help her monitor students.
Because of the PEP grant, we were able to get heart rate monitors, and so I'll just kind of explain a little bit of the responsibility of the student when they come into class. The first thing, they're assigned a watch, and so they're asked to put the watch on their wrist. And then the next thing is, then they have to get the strap and the monitor, and so then they just put the strap just like this, and it goes around right underneath their chest. They learn how to wet the electrodes so that they'll get a reading on that. That can be a little bit challenging. The first couple of class periods, a lot of just teaching the kids where they need to go, the number, and helping them learn how to put it on correctly. But we found that they've been very successful after doing it a couple of times. Once they get the watch on, then they learn how they can pick up their heart rate right away. There's a little red heart inside of the watch, and it will beep, and then that will tell them that's their heart rate. So then we'll just do some challenging activities to make them see how they can get their heart rate raised up. We talk about getting their heart rate at target heart rate from 135 to 180, and so it's very fun to see how active the kids get right away and realize what they, by running around playing maybe a tag game, that heart rate can get up. After they're done, and our class periods are 25 minutes, so usually if we can have at least 20 good minutes of having the heart rate monitor on and working, then when they're done, they can actually see how hard they worked in class. They'll be able to push the button, and the first thing they'll see is that if they got what their heart rate actually was, average heart rate during the class period. Then they push another button, and it will tell them how many total minutes they were in their target zone. And we put that, and that's kind of put for everybody, 135 to 180. And then the last thing, then it will tell them, when they push the button, it will tell them how many total minutes they were exercising. So the kids will leave the class knowing how many minutes they were active in class, and then whether they were in their target heart rate or not. And then we'll discuss what can you do to raise your heart rate, or maybe what could you do to lower it. We've had some good discussions about, was this an activity that did get your heart rate up, or how could we make it a little bit more challenging? And I share mine with Van Allen, so we usually get to try to use them like 3 times during the year with different units. And I think it's been very rewarding for the kids to see.
Margaret, what kind of goals did the district set some kind of expectations as far as the use of these, or?
We were lucky enough to buy them so that these are the ones that you're not downloadable on the computer. And so kind of the goal was to make the kids in 5th, 6th grade, I only use them in 5th, 6th grade and kind of recommended. So it seems like it's worked really well for them just to kind of get used to them and to see how it works and what we're talking about when we're talking about fitness and getting in your target heart rate. And then ultimately what we've done is the kids are ready when they go to junior high to use the ones that are downloadable, and then they wear them a little bit more often. So it's just kind of an exposure for them to use them.
Destreaming is my newest favorite thing.
How do you use it?
It allows you to put in any topic and to find videos, segments, or full videos that go along with your material that are educational. And it's really good for things that are sort of hard to grasp, like what's an acid versus a base.
Technology that your team uses here at Longfellow in 5th and 6th grade?
We use the Diffusion Machines, which are kind of like a word processing piece of equipment, like a small typewriter. They're kind of nice because kids don't have to worry about getting bogged down with all the other applications that are on them. I mean, it's more of just a word processing piece of equipment. The downfall is that it's a technology, and the students have a tough time if they break down or whatever. They have to be shipped away and the memory is cleared. So trying to teach a kid about always saving things in 2 spots. So here's the the Fusion machine. So as I said,